Hey, so let's look at multiplication and division a little bit closer using our significant figures practice sheet. So as we look at this a little bit, we got to think about what we're doing. So when we're doing multiplication and division, our goal is to keep the lowest number of sig figs. So which number in my equation has the fewest sig figs, the less amount? So we first have to just look at the equation, right? So this right here, this number, so 2.15. Right there we have 3 sig figs. Over here we have 3.1, we have 2 sig figs. And then we have 100. There's no decimal point here. Trailing zeros without a decimal point are not significant. So there is only one significant number here. So now I know that this is my fewest. That's what I have to round. I have to round in a way that I keep 1 sig fig. So let's look at what we have. So I'm going to start underlining from left to right. I have my underline. That's it. That's all I get. So let's look at the number right before. We have a 6. So what do? We have to round up. So in this case, 700. And then we check. So my final answer here is 700. Does it have 1 sig fig? That's what I need. I have 1 sig fig. I have trailing zeros, but no decimal point. If I place a decimal point there, I'm going to end up with 3 sig figs, so don't do that. If you only need 1, just put the 1, right? So let's look at our next problem. So again, this time we have division. So division is the same rule as multiplication, so we're going to keep the fewest number of sig figs. So let's see how many we have. In this number here, we have 500,000. So in 500,000, we're going to look. They're trailing zeros. So to make sure, are those zeros significant or not, I have to ask, is there a decimal point? There is not. There's a comma, but a comma is not a decimal point. So every number here is not significant. So all of those zeros are not significant. There's 1 sig fig here for the 500,000. And then over here we look, we have 5.004. These zeros are sandwiched, right? They're smushed between 2 whole numbers, so they're significant. So in total, we have 2 whole numbers, 2 smushed zeros. We get 4 sig figs there. So now let's start underlining with the amount that we should have. In this case, our lowest amount of sig figs is 1. So we're going to put a 1 here. Great. Now we have to look, how can we round this in a way to keep the amount of sig figs that we need? And look at this number beforehand and check. So there we have it. We have to bump up a notch, right? So we're so close. It's so close to this. So to round this up, we now have to go to 100,000. And we look. Is it right? Is it good? So we're going to look. Do I have 1 sig fig? I have 1 sig fig. Is it close to the number that I rounded from? Yeah, it's close to the number that I rounded from. So I maintain that 1 sig fig, and I have right there as well. So now let's look at 14 and 20. So let's look at these together as well. So we have number 14. So when we do 34.1 times divided by 1.1, we get 31. So looking at this, what are my sig figs? I have 3 here, I have 2 here, right? And over here, if I underline for my 2, I already have 2. This answer is okay. This answer is all set. We're done with this one. It's a beautiful thing when it works together like that. So now let's look at this number. We have how many sig figs here? So count them out. 2, right? And over here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? They're all whole numbers. So now what do? I round to that fewest sig figs again. I have 1 and I have 2. So I have 2,600, right? Because if I look at that last number there, it's less than 5, so I have to round to keep it the same, and it's 2,600. So that's how I want you guys to approach these problems. Break them down. And again, if you really want to understand this, teach it to somebody, right? If you can show this to somebody and you can show them this technique, it will help solidify this idea in your mind, and that will help you be even stronger in class. So let's do that. If you need some more help, I'm always happy in here for you guys. So please just let me know what I can do to best support you. Thank you. Bye.